And today I just want to put down a little bit of ground goop on an area of the layout. You can see it's between the track and a cliff, and normally I would just probably paint that with some diluted white glue and start putting down some ground cover, but here's where the plaster cloth for the cliff is looking all uneven and bumpy. It's going to be kind of hard to really hide that if all I did was use white glue and ground foam. So I'm putting down a thin layer of ground goop. I start by just spraying it briefly, just a mist of water, so that it doesn't, the dry wood doesn't just suck out all the water out of the ground goop. This is my container of ground goop. If you saw my other video, you know that this is now well over 5 years old. And it lasts this long, covered in an airtight container and just rejuvenated with a little bit of warm water mixed in. And put it down with a palette knife. You can spread it out. You can make it nice and smooth. You can make it contoured. You can put little berms in with this. It just is up to you as to what kind of ground contour you want to create. I'm going to do a little area of it first, and then show you what I do next when I start adding the foam and so forth. By the way, that spritzing bottle I had was from some cosmetic that my wife had, some aerosol. I found some of the best spritzing bottles in the cosmetic stores, so keep your eyes open when you're out and about. And let me just do a little bit more and then come back. Now, this goop does have a certain amount of moisture in it, certainly, and it's enough moisture to secure a thin layer of ground cover. So if all I wanted was a thin layer of grass on this, I would simply sprinkle it right on top of here. If you want it to hold anything that's a little bit thicker than just a sprinkling of ground cover, then I go to a thin mix of diluted white glue, and this mixture is about 65–70% glue and the rest water. And everything here is water-based. The goop is water-based, the diluted glue is water-based, so you don't have to wait for anything to dry. You can just put it all on. I think I could have used a slightly wider brush, but since I've dirtied this one now, I'll stick with it. And I'm just adding this right over the goop. I think what I'm going to do is near the edge here where it goes off into the stream, I'm going to just put some sifted dirt. And this is dirt out of the yard that I have sifted through probably 3 or 4 different screens, and those I use the kind of strainers that you use in the kitchen. And if you go into the kitchen area of a department store, you can find those little sifting baskets with different size holes in the screen, and I start with a coarse one and then go to the very finest. So this is a very fine. This is a very fine sand that I have here. So I'm just going to take some of that now and start sprinkling it into the ground foam, into the ground goop, excuse me, near the end here. Make it blend in with what I already had. And as I come further out, I am going to start adding some, besides the fine sand, I am going to start adding some Woodland Scenics ground foam into the mix as well. And of course, the moisture will come up into this and hold it, and then tomorrow I'll just blow off the excess and you'll get a nice covering here. Again, one of the nice things about the goop is the long working time that you have. You have certainly up to an hour to keep shaping the goop into any shape you really want it to be in. And if you want something thicker, if you wanted to put some bushes in it, then what I do is just put a little bit of, as I'm sure many of you do, just a little bit of white glue on the bottom and then glue it in place. If you have little rocks that you want to put in, you can put them right into the goop and the goop will hold it. Or if you have branches of trees that you want to put in, you can do that too. And that's pretty much how I use my goop. I've done a number of other things with it, and besides just the thin layer, I have made many berms with this because you can make small contours. This will dry if it's 3/4 of an inch thick or so. Dries really quick overnight, and there you go. And that's the way I'll work my way right down there. I'll probably come back and put some more bushes and so forth in. Maybe some talus along the edge where it looks like rocks have fallen off of the cliff and so forth. And that's it.